rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat unto that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat unto that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it.
Hear and do. House on a sand versus a house on a rock. So the foundation is vital. When it talks about, and this is, I think, very important here in verse 22, where it talks about prophesying in your name, casting out devils, doing wonderful works. There are a number of churches today that are professing to do those things. A lot of prophets or preachers that are professing to do those things, and they are drawing people because they are doing wonderful works. In fact, some people, I just got an email from somebody who is healing people, and there are testimonials, and frankly, it's really quite unbelievable. But that's it. That seems to be the extent of the ministry. And we have to ask the question. It's difficult to discern in a case like that, because here's somebody who's doing good. Here's somebody who's helping people regain their health. But at the same time, what is happening spiritually? And that is the fundamental point here. What is happening spiritually? I want also just to note the Greek here for the term prophecy, because when we think in terms of the word, simply the word prophecy, we think about somebody forecasting and saying what is going to happen in the future. The Greek could include that, but doesn't necessarily mean that. And in 1 Corinthians 14:3, where we have the same Greek word used, it says, "But he that prophesies speaks unto men to edification." So this kind of prophecy is to the law and the testimony. In other words, are they preaching the truth out of the Bible? This is what's important. It's not forecasting about the beast and about the number of days and about the end times and about that kind of information. It's doing the will of my Father in heaven, he that does. It's the accomplishment of God's word. It's a very clear analogy here. On the one hand, you've got a foundation of sand, and on the other hand, you've got a foundation of rock, and one will fall, and when the other is wise. And as we are doing this Bible study now, we're having terrible floods in Asia, and hundreds of people, unfortunately, dying with landslides and housing that is literally built on sand. And we've got a physical example of this. Of course, it's horrible. It's unfortunate for these people who are being involved in this kind of flood. But again, we're just taking the analogy here, and we want to make sure that what we build is not going to be washed away when it does start to rain. So discernment, the key point here.
Yes, that's important. And when they were saying about didn't we cast out devils and miracles happen, we have to realize that when Nicodemus had mentioned to Jesus, did those miracles, only God had to be with you for you to do those things. If you think about the Old Testament, especially when Moses was with Pharaoh and those magi was doing things, God wasn't with them, but they were mimicking what Moses was doing.
Yeah.
So that's what you have to do when you're discerning, looking at those spiritual gifts and really discerning, is this from God or is this from some other spirit?
Unlock Scripture's core meaning with Biblical Hebrew made simple. No reading, no memorizing. Get your free mini course now. theexplanation.com/naked.